Hello, happy spenders. Another Tuesday has come for Essential Money Talks. Now, today, the topic is be prepared. If you're prepared, then you should not fear and you won't have anxiety and stress. So this past weekend, I live in Brisbane, Australia, and this last week, starting on Wednesday, but it really got quite heavy on Saturday, Sunday, we had a lot of rain. I think we had like close to a meter, okay, for the like 1,000 milliliters. And so that's a lot of rain. So there was major flooding. Rivers, homes. Now, actually, the Brisbane River, a lot of those places are being flooded because it may rain on the weekend and it rained for like 4 days, really, really heavy. But then there's the aftermath, which is what happens after once it all comes down from the hills and the mountains into the dams and things like that. And so it's been a major thing that's happened here that is not, hasn't happened this bad in many, many years. Were you prepared? If you lived in Brisbane or in the South Queensland, Southeast, were you prepared for what came? We didn't have really a lot of notice of really how bad it was going to be, but we need to become self-reliant and make sure that we are prepared for the expected as well as the unexpected. So I always say that there is no unexpected in life. We even know we're going to die. Now, we don't know when, but we know we're going to die. We're going to get sick at some point. We know probably the electricity is going to go out at some point due to a storm or car accident or anything. So those are things that we know will happen. We don't know when. It's not if they happen, it's when they happen. We know that we may get in a car accident and it might be our fault. And so that means we need to claim on our insurance. But with all insurance, generally there's an excess or what we have to pay for first before the insurance cuts in. So there's lots of things that are unexpected but expected. And so we need to have a plan for those things. So this weekend with the floods, were we prepared? Yeah, thankfully I had all the basics in the house because I don't live or buy week by week. Okay, so in other words, I have a full pantry that has plenty of food in it, and we could probably go 3 months without going to the shops. And you say, oh, but how are you going to have milk? Well, it's called long life milk. Now, this is almond milk because that's what I drink. But there's long life milk. And you might be thinking, oh, but I don't like long life milk. Well, when you have no other option, you drink long life milk. I don't like canned soup. I like fresh stuff. But if you can't get fresh pumpkin because the stores are flooded and the things, then you will have that. So there again, and this is a question I always say is your eating habits so particular that if it came to it that you don't have those things available to you, your brands or things, are you going to be the complainer or are you going to realize, hey, just be grateful for what you can have? There are many people, as we know, the horrible things. Sorry, I keep forgetting to turn my phone off. Let me just turn this off. Okay, sorry about that. The sad thing that's happening over in the Ukraine and Russia. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been unprepared. Okay. And I've always been taught, my parents always taught us that we always need to have like a 3-day 72-hour emergency pack. And we did when, as we have five children, when they were younger, we bought all of us had our own backpack. It all had in some non-perishable kind of food. And I remember sweetened condensed milk in the tube was one of them. That was our dairy. And it had stuff in there. It had an extra set of clothes. It had a roll of toilet paper in case we had to evacuate and we wanted to have that. And then it was stored at the front of our garage, just before our garage door opened, just in there. That's where they're stored, because if something happened and the house collapsed, at least it wasn't, all our packs weren't in the center of the house. But generally it was there that if we needed to leave quick, we would go on, and it would have cash and everything in it as well, and some important documents, copies of them. So that was how I was raised, to be prepared. And there's so many things that are happening in the world. It seems one after the other, or some at the same time. And we need to be prepared in all areas of our life. A few other things that you need, like on the weekend, my son was up in Gympie and his wife's here because they're in transition of moving in here until they can find a place. And he got caught up in the floods in Gympie, and he didn't have electricity. He was cut off, couldn't get to, Gympie, really couldn't leave, didn't have electricity. Okay, so it's really important to have a candle and to have matches. Basic things that we need to survive is some basic food, as well as water, is to have some water. This is a cute thing that we got when I was in England. I lived in England for 1.5 years. And yeah, this is a Welsh lantern. And so we need to have things that will sometimes bring us warmth. I know in our backpack, we had these little, it kind of looked like aluminum foil blankets, but they were kind of warmth blankets. Another thing that I grabbed was this. Okay, now, at least in Brisbane, we're not going to have to wear these much longer, but I think I would put one of these in my emergency pack, because imagine if you were there on September 11th when those towers went down. You would have wanted one of these to protect all the dust and everything. And so that's a good thing to have in your pack. My daughter's Medicare card just came. Okay, that's maybe one thing you can grab is your Medicare card in case you need to go to the hospital. And cash, to have cash on hand. Because who knows, your banking might go down, the internet might go down. We need to have some available cash. So those are just some of the things to talk about, how we can be prepared in a physical environmental disaster. And again, it's not when it happens, it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. So we need to be prepared. The other area I'd like to talk about is being prepared in regards to time. Okay, we all have 24 hours a day. There's 7 days a week. There's 28 to 31 days in the month. So we all have the same time. And so are we being prepared in regards to how we use our time? So I talk a lot about, I love time management, and I talk a lot about, are you a seed planter or are you a firefighter? Now, let me explain the difference. I'll just tell you an example, a story. I had a daughter who in high school, she was doing a home economics class, and where they would cook. Sorry, I thought I'd turn that off. Okay, I'm just going to try and maybe that's off. Sorry. And it was Thursday morning at 7:00, and she comes in. She's 14, 15 years old, and says, "Mom, today we have a cooking class, and I have to bring 1 kilo of chicken breasts. And I just looked at her and said, and how long have you known this? Oh, I just remembered it. I've known for, a week or so. So what she was doing is she was coming and bringing me a fire. Because she wasn't prepared, she was just dropping this fire in mom's lap to put this fire out and to solve it. Now, it was only an hour before school started. And luckily, we had some chicken in the freezer. It was frozen, but we did have some chicken breasts. And so she was able to do that. But because of her lack of being prepared, she threw me a fire. And I'm sure all of you can think of times when someone has thrown you a fire because they didn't plan or prepare themselves. So people around me, my family and friends, they kind of know, don't be throwing me no fire, because I am a seed planter. Now, let me explain what a seed planter is. A seed planter is someone who, like a farmer, you plant the seed in the spring. Plant the seed in the spring, and you nurture it, and then you harvest it at the end. But you have to, the harvest is you're getting your fruit and veg. You're getting the benefit of having a garden. But you have to put in the work way, way before you get the benefit. Okay, you have to plant that seed months before. You have to nurture it. You have to water it. You can't just expect to come in the fall or autumn when it's time to eat, think, okay, where's my food? When you haven't prepared and planted and nurtured that so that you can have that. So that is a seed planter. A seed planter is someone who looks forward, looks ahead, and sees what's coming in the future. What are some deadlines in the future? What do I need to do now to prepare for that? Or I can put my head in the sand and just procrastinate. And then it comes a few days or an hour before that deadline, and you're fighting a fire. Or you're throwing the fire to someone else, which is not really respectful. So a seed planter plans ahead, looks what's coming up, and does that. So I'm a seed planter, and I challenge you and invite you to become a seed planter. Firefighters, that's very stressful. That's a very stressful job. I would not want to have that job. So I ensure that I plan early. Of course, there are some emergencies that just happen. Okay, if you have a child and it falls and it cuts itself and it needs to go to the ER, okay, that's fine. But generally, if we have other things planned in our life, we can handle that. But when everything is a fire, when we're procrastinating all the important things in our life, and then it all comes to a head and something happens, it's like, oh, poor me. We need to have a plan and be prepared. So now I want to talk about the third area. So we've talked about physical preparedness against the unexpected. We've talked about time, and that we all have the same amount of time, and we can easily procrastinate it. And people say, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time to do that. Yet they have plenty of time to watch Netflix or to watch their favorite series or whatever. It all has to do with the plan. You have to plan what you want to achieve, put it in your calendar. I mean, I love my calendar. It tells me exactly what I'm supposed to be doing every day, and reminds me. So if I know I have to do something next Friday, I don't try and remember it. I put it in my calendar as a reminder. So it does that for me. And as I get older, I'm getting more and more forgetful. And those who know me and are close to me totally understand that. So the third area I'm going to talk about is financial, to be financially prepared. Okay, so this is essential. This is essential money talks. And so we're going to talk about for the next 10 minutes the importance of being financially prepared. Okay, so I'm just going to in my course, I have a module and a section, and it's be prepared, not scared or stressed. So if you are financially prepared, you don't have to be scared or stressed. Now, I talk about there's 6 ways that we spend our money. I'm just going to get this up. There's 6 ways we spend our money. So any way you spend your money, you would be able to slot into one of these 6 ways. The first way is your weekly expenses. Okay, the money you spend on food, fuel or petrol or gasoline, fun, and incidentals. So food, fuel, fun, incidentals. Incidentals are those teeny emergencies. You know, little Johnny got sick and he needs antibiotics. Or, you know, those little emergencies that usually cost, you know, less than $50. The second way you spend your money is regular, predictable expenses and bills. Okay, bills are predictable and regular. We know when things come, but it's amazing how many people are unprepared when a bill comes in their mail like, oh, I didn't know you were coming. And it's like, yeah, I've been coming for the last 20 years every month on this day. But we tend to easily put our head in the sand and just ignore that and think it's going to go away. It does not go away. Any fire that you start or you don't plan for is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger and then harder to put out and more stressful. So those regular predictable expenses, which include your bills, which includes everything else. We know when our parents or our kids' birthday is, anniversaries, Mother's Day, Father's Day. We know all that. But we have to plan for it. And that's regular and it's predictable. The third area is products that you purchase that you either need or that you want. Okay, so they're things that we purchase. The fourth area or way we spend our money, which is this is where people start putting their head in the sand. It's the repairing of the things that you buy, that you either need or that you want. Okay, and especially on the things that you need a refrigerator. You need, if your toilet is blocked up, you need to get a plumber in. There are things that sustain your life that you need. You need water if, like it has been in a lot of places in Brisbane, they could not drink the water. They were told not to use the water. Their water was taken off. So they needed to have that. So those are the things that we need. Then there's the things we want. Okay, needs have to come first. So we need to make sure that we have a plan B or plan if some of those things that we actually need that are in our home, if they need repairing. Okay, now a predictable expense in the number 2 is car service. Now that's predictable. You know you need to service your car, say, about every 6 months. But you don't know, like me, that you're going to hit a kangaroo on the way home late at night after going and doing a Baskin-Robbins dash. And it's dark, you're on this road, and a kangaroo just decides to jump out in front of you, and there's nothing you can do to stop, and you hit this kangaroo. When I got home, I'm thinking, oh, there's no damage to the car. Oh, about a week later, I noticed the air conditioner wasn't working as well. It wasn't cooling. But I hadn't regassed it in many years, so I thought maybe it just needs regassing. It was beginning of winter, so that was okay. I didn't need my air conditioner. And so for the next 3 months, it was fine until it started getting hot. And hot in Brisbane, you need an air conditioner. So I went to the mechanic. He said, oh, it was that bumper accident you had. And I'm thinking, I didn't have no bumper accident. Then I remembered the little kangaroo hairs on just a little crack of my bumper. And I thought, oh, I hit a kangaroo. And he said, yeah, the air compressor is right behind, even though it's flexible, your bumper, it went in. When you hit the kangaroo, it damaged your air conditioner and came back out again. Now, that was unexpected. I didn't know, but luckily I have money that's there that I have for repairing and things. Okay, so that wasn't a problem for me. I didn't have to stress. It was not a fire. I have enough money in an account that I can have a couple fires going on at one time, unexpected things. So repairing things is the fourth area. Replacing things. Things are not going to last forever. Okay, your fridge is not going to last forever. I have a washing machine that we got 6 months after we're married. We'll be married 34 years in a couple of weeks. It's still going. But let me tell you, I've had money sit in a bank account to replace it for about 15 years. And it's just sitting there. So once it dies, then I will replace that because I know it's going to go. Now, it may keep going. Who knows? It was a good little American Maytag brand. So we need to have money to replace things that we need in the future. And then the last one is once in a lifetime occurrences. There's things that are once in a lifetime. We know that we may have to, education, getting married. Okay. That's something that you can start saving for as a little girl, start saving, getting married, buying your first home, having a family, going on that dream holiday, retirement. Okay. Retirement. Don't start thinking about retirement a few years out of retirement. The earlier you do, and the earlier you go and see a financial advisor or a planner, they will help you make sure that you have your, the amount that you need to retire. So again, don't procrastinate. Be a seed planter when it comes down. I am not a financial planner or an advisor. I am an expert in day-to-day personal finances and a spending plan. But it's important to seek those professionals out as well. So those are the 6 ways we spend our money. And so there's an effective bank structure that I teach to ensure that all 6 of those areas are covered. One of them is your bill account. That is my main primary bank account, is the bank account that pays for all my regular predictable expenses, which includes bills. Okay. Then I have a separate account, which is my FFFI, which is for my regular weekly spending or pay cycle spending. So once it's gone, I have an automatic amount that goes over. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I stop spending until more money comes in. I do not go back and raid or steal from the bills account because that money is already allocated. I also have a big bad wolf account, as you would call maybe a rainy day account. That is what I have at least $2,000 in for those unexpected things that happen, like that kangaroo. Or if I get in an accident and my excess is $750, I have that. I choose higher excesses in my insurance, so I have a lower premium because I have that excess sitting in a bank account. Where if I were to choose a lower excess, I would be paying a higher premium. And over the last 30 years, I've only claimed on my house insurance once and maybe my car once. So if I would have been paying a zero excess at a higher premium each year, I would have wasted so much money. So I have that money sitting there in my big bad wolf account. The other account I have is the long-term savings replacement account, long-term replacement savings. And that's for all my long-term things. We had termites in our home and we had to rebuild our whole kitchen. And they were the original appliances, which were like 25 years old. So we replaced our appliances. So I immediately started saving for when they need replacing. It's only a few dollars a week. So when that needs that again, because of course they're all new at the same time, they're all going to go probably at the same time, I will have the money. It will not be a fire to me because I'm a seed planter and planning that money and savings. So nothing is expected. Now, debt. Let me talk about debt. Debt is the reason you got into debt is 2 reasons. And when I talk debt, I'm not talking mortgage debt. I'm talking consumer debt, credit cards, personal loans, all the things that once you buy them, they go down in value. Okay. A house, at least that's an asset and it goes up in value. So I'm talking about consumer debt, and you do not have to have consumer debt. Okay. Consumer debt is not a necessity or normal. I'm financially weird. I invite you to be financially weird. Financially normal people have consumer debt. But if you have debt, that is how you can avoid having fires. You need to pay off that debt ASAP so that if something does come up in the future that's unexpected, you're going to have the funds available for that because all the money you're putting towards debt at the moment, you're going to be putting into savings. So you'll have money there to take care of whatever happens. Okay, so debt, you need to eliminate that. Those who have heard of Dave Ramsey in the States, and he has baby steps, 7 baby steps. His second one is get out of debt. But just like I talked before, his first one is to make sure you have what I call a big bad wolf count. And the big bad wolf count, because I tell the analogy of my effective bank structures, the 3 pigs, the 3 bank accounts, the bills, the FFFI, and savings, as well as long-term replacement savings. There's the big bad wolf count. And that is to protect me against his visits. I know he's going to come visit our home at some point. So I have an account to protect me against his visits. And so, so the big bad wolf account, I always have at least $2,000 in. If I have to take from it, then I start quickly building that up again, because who knows, when it rains, sometimes it pours and you might have more. And so having that big bad wolf account is this baby step number 1 with Dave Ramsey. You need to first, before you start heavily trying to pay off your debt, you're just doing your payments, but you're building that up first. Because what will happen if you're trying to pay off your debt and putting everything in your debt and then an emergency happens? If you don't have any savings, you're going to end up going right back into debt. So always recommend Australia $2,000, in America at least $1,000. You save that up first, and then you go gazelle intensity, meaning that is your main focus before you buy anything else other than your basic necessities. You want to pay off that debt ASAP, because it is costing you thousands of dollars if you're paying interest on debt. And so that is really, really important. So nothing is unexpected. Like I said, we all know we're going to die. Are we just going to put our head in the sand, or are we going to think, okay, how am I going to, do I have something that will actually pay for that funeral? Or am I going to leave it to my grieving kids to take care of that? Are you thinking long-term for your retirement? Or are you just thinking the here and now? Because let me tell you, if you're thinking the here and now, you're going to have a lot of fires to put out as you get older. And the time of your life that should be very carefree and to enjoy and travel, you will be eating beans and rice because you didn't plan, you weren't a seed planter to plan that. And so today is the best time to plan for the future. The past is the past. I teach a spending plan. It's all about forward planning your spending. The past money I've spent is gone. So tracking it is not going to make a difference. I invest my time like I did 19 years ago. I created a proven spending plan. And I said how I was going to spend my money. And I have a list to help people see all the ways that you can spend your money. And it's separated into those 6 expense types so that you can really get your head out of the sand and think, how do I need to start saving for things in the future? For example, your driver's license. Okay, I have never seen driver's license in a traditional budget example. But in a spending plan, we have that. We have your passport. We have lots of things that a traditional budget does not include. And that's why it brings stress. And that's why it generally, things don't work with your budget because it doesn't have the whole story. So again, the difference between a budget and a spending plan, a budget is income and expenses. It is 2-dimensional only, where a spending plan is 3-dimensional. It has income and expenses, but it adds in timing. And timing makes all the difference. The timing of your income and expenses so that you can see in the future that everything is going to be okay. And you'll actually see your bank account balances in the future. So you'll see if it's going to be short at one point, you have time to plant that seed and to make sure it doesn't happen. So hopefully this has given you something to think about being prepared physically, being prepared with your time, and being a seed planter and not procrastinating things so that you end up being a firefighter. And then financially be prepared. Be prepared for all those expected costs as well as those unexpected costs. And then you will have financial peace. I'm a happy spender. A happy spender is one who plans their spending, expected and unexpected, one who saves for their spending in the spending plan software, which makes it so easy, and it's only $10 a month, and then happily spends. So I'm a happy spender. You are here in my group because you are a happy spender or you want to become a happy spender. I invite you, if you don't have my welcome gift and the intro to my A Spending Plan to Financial Peace course, please message me. I just need your email and I will give you free 30-day access to that. I also offer a half-day workshop where we create your spending plan in 4 hours. I also have an 8-week group course, which I'm currently doing. And that's really good because there is no shame. There is no embarrassment about money. We have all made mistakes, but we all just want to do better. And that's what everything is. Every day is a new beginning and we can always do better. And so I love it in my course. Everyone's encouraging and celebrating everyone's wins, whether they're a couple dollar win or $100 or $1,000 win. It's the fact that we're moving forward into the future to be better. So if you're not good with money and you have a lot of debt, it's not your fault because you've probably only known about a budget. But with a spending plan, it shows you your money truth. You can't be ignorant anymore. You'll see it. And then as long as you're 100% honest and follow that truth and implement and create a plan, then you will be great with money. If you're good with money already, but you still aren't achieving the things you want, then it will make you great, even greater with money. If you're good with money, but you like to learn how to become better because you're teachable and you're always seeking to be better, then a spending plan is for you and it will make you awesome with money. Because there again, there's a huge difference between a budget and a spending plan. And a spending plan gives you your whole 100% truth and clarity about your future. And so that you can totally eliminate all your stress and anxiety that you may currently have about your money and resurrect those buried dreams that you might have buried because I don't have enough money. You can get anything you want if you have a plan, if you save, and depending on what you want, it might take more time. But time is your friend if you want to plan for spending in the future. Yet if you have debt, time is not on your hand. The longer you have debt, the more it's going to cost you to pay. Example, you have a $10,000 credit card bill and it's maxed out and you don't put anything more on it, but you're just paying the minimum payments. It will take you 36 years and $64,000 to pay that off. You'll be a grandparent by the time you do that, which you did it when you're thinking. Wouldn't you rather use that money for other things that you really want rather than giving it to the banks and to your creditors? So time is so important. To be prepared, you need to so this is my favorite saying, multiply your time and money by giving yourself emotional permission to concentrate and invest time and money today so that you get more time and money in the future. Take the time to organize your finances. Take the time to plan your spending. I did it 19 years ago, and it takes me minutes a month, like 10 minutes a month to do my finances because I planned it, and now I follow it, and it's so easy. And so we have saved thousands and thousands of hours as well as dollars because we have a plan. My family is in control of our money. It is not in control of me. So be prepared is the message today. Now, in the next half hour, I will be going into why budgeting is broken and a spending plan is the answer. So if you're interested, the link will be put down below so that you can join in on that Zoom. And it's a 45 minutes, and I'm just giving you some more information about the difference between a budget and a spending plan. It's just an information session, as well as, and that's 12:30 Brisbane time on a Tuesday, which is, like I said, in about 20 minutes. And then Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Brisbane time is the other one. So I do it twice a week, a daytime and a nighttime. Anytime you can come on. If you've thought of people who maybe you think you don't need this, well, I challenge you, be curious, because everyone can benefit from a spending plan. But if you've thought of anybody else, please let them know that link below so that they too can come and learn more, learn a better way to manage their money. Money is easy. 1 + 1 is 2. It will never be 3. Money management is easy if you have all the information, the 3 dimensions: income, expenses, and timing. That's the big one that budgets are missing. So hopefully I'll see you soon, and check out all the resources on this page, and choose financial freedom so that you can have financial peace. And I will see you again next Tuesday for Essential Money Talks.